So we know that July is over. Dry July, that is officially over. And for many people, the real challenge starts in August. So we're speaking with physician and sobriety coach Dr. Frank Spinelli this morning about how to keep healthy habits going and how to approach alcohol with intention. Dr. Spinelli, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
All right, so Dr. Spinelli, why do you say the first week of August is actually the most important part of the Dry July Challenge?
Well, because for many people who are experiencing dry July, they may be feeling really motivated to continue that going. But if you didn't, hey, why not start today with Sober August? And it would be a really good opportunity for you to try something new in this ending or winding down of summer to just see if you could be abstinent for 30 days.
And, when Dry July ends, many people feel like they've earned a drink after completing the challenge. So is that mindset helpful, or can it derail the progress they've made?
Well, what's interesting is when you look at the research. So this all began historically with dry January, where people after the holidays said, you know what, maybe I should take a break from drinking alcohol for a month. And what we've seen historically is that three things happen. One, people resume drinking. Like they say, I deserve the drink. I did 30 days and I'm done. Two, they go back and they start drinking, but more mindfully. So they learn something over the 30 days that they said, you know what, I feel actually really good. You know what, maybe I don't need to start drinking again. Or if I do, I'm going to be really cautious. And then there are those who say, you know what, I really liked how I feel. I'm going to continue this and I'm going to do dry February, or in this case, dry August, and really just continuation of what they've learned in the 30 days when they were doing a sober July.
And now let's talk about social settings. Sometimes people feel awkward or just uncomfortable with saying no in social settings. So how can people navigate those environments?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's really tough because the summer there are so many cookouts and barbecues and parties that there's always going to be alcohol. The idea is what we teach at Reframe is to go in with a plan. So if you're not going to be drinking, understand that when you arrive, you may want to just grab something that's non-alcoholic. That way you have something in your hand, or better yet, bring something non-alcoholic with you, like a non-alcoholic beer, or make your own mocktail when you're there. The idea is we don't want you to feel like you're out of the party or you're out of the loop. The idea is to experience the joy of missing out, not the fear of missing out or FOMO. So make it something entertaining. Create your own drink while you're at the party. And you know what? Maybe other people will be like, hey, I want to try what you're having. The idea is we don't want you to feel like you're being punished throughout this experience. And when you tell people, just say, you know what? I'm taking a break this month. I want to see how I feel not drinking.
And I do want to ask you more about the Reframe app. First, there are two questions that can tell people more about their relationship with alcohol. What are they, and why are they so revealing?
Well, I think it's very important for anybody who is even considering having a different relationship with alcohol that we welcome you to check out Reframe. It is an app, but it's an online community. There are tests, there are resources, there's a forum where you can communicate with other people like you. But this is not a binary where it's one or the other. You could be somebody that doesn't want to drink and wants to become someone who is sober, or you could be sober curious and want to mindfully moderate. And the idea is that at Reframe, we have two paths depending on where you fit, or maybe you don't know yet. And so we invite you to check it out and see what works for you. But the idea here is that we're using neuroscience to really renegotiate your relationship with alcohol that suits you.
And we do see Reframe, a lot, on social media when we're scrolling. And one important message that it sends is that you can't just rely on willpower. Talk about that. And why is the shift so important for long-term success, changing your mindset that is around alcohol and not relying on willpower?
Yeah, because that's so important, because what you're doing is setting yourself for failure by saying, if I fail, then I don't have any willpower. And we don't believe that. We think you have a lot of strength. And people, when they finally make a decision to change their relationship with alcohol, really will find that at Reframe, we're providing you with evidence, we're providing you with science. And when people understand the logic of what alcohol is actually doing to them, they don't see it necessarily as a moral failing. They're seeing it as established neurocircuitry in the brain that has to be rewired. And so we teach that. And when you learn that and understand that, you develop confidence. And that's what we want. We want people to develop tools so that they can utilize them in their daily life. We don't want to set people up for failure. We want to set people up for success.
And now, Dr. Spinelli, you describe alcohol as being a gaslighter. What do you mean by that?
Oh, everyone thinks alcohol is their friend. It's not. It's your frenemy. It lies to you. And the effects that it has on your brain reward system are triggering dopamine, which is the feel-good hormone. And so who doesn't like that? But the problem is that your brain wants that debt paid. And so what does that mean? It means more alcohol. And so this sets up a loop where you're dependent on alcohol to replenish that dopamine. And so dopamine has to be given in higher quantities. And what does that mean? More alcohol. So this idea that alcohol is a comfort to you is really a myth. It's really not your friend. It's your frenemy.
And we are seeing more messages on social media about the dangerous effects of alcohol. And it's scary, to read those things.
Yeah.
If someone wants to build on what they accomplished during Dry July or live a sober life, what's one piece of advice you want them to carry?
Well, the best advice I can give you is to understand that you are not alone. And that if you have any questions about your relationship with alcohol, look into Reframe and see if it's a right fit for you, and understand that we teach science, that we develop habits, that we want to inspire you to reach goals that fit right for you and your life.
Dr. Spinelli, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this very important topic. We hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.